Okay, well, here it is, the latest project that has taken me, gosh, when did I start this? Maybe early March? No, May. About 2 months there. Of course, I had a couple weeks vacation in between, so that's what it took so long, because I actually did like, I don't know, 50% of it pretty quickly within the first week, maybe a little less. And then it kind of dragged out with the trips in between. And then I finally finished it. On the tail end of one trip, I only had like a little bit of the roof to go and the top of the tree part. It is kind of big, I will say, which is impressive size. It's kind of hard to get it all in one shot, so I'll do my best here. But it's a good little build, and by little I mean pretty big. In fact, piece count wise, I had to look it up because I couldn't find it at all. There's no original box or anything where I bought it online. This isn't real Legos, actually. This is a set someone else designed and sold with knockoff pieces, but you can't tell the difference. And I like this a lot because this set, again, I looked it up. It was a little over 2,500 pieces. So this equivalent, if you were to buy these in real Lego sets, this would be what? In today's dollars, like $200, $250, $300, something like that. But I paid a whopping 77 bucks. And that's a pretty good rate for what you get. Like I said, 2,500 pieces. It's one of the tallest sets I have. Like if you look over here, I got all those modular sets. It's way taller than that. Of course, that tree is what props it up. But even if you look at like the roof line of where it comes in, it's taller than these guys over here. So pretty cool. I don't have lights like I do for the modular sets, but I guess I could always throw some custom ones in if I buy a couple light strings or something. If I get around to that, that is a possibility. I just don't have one right now, and there's no like light kit built for it, so it would have to be its own thing. It did have an original book. There it is. Whoa. You can see what it is. Pretty standard stuff here based on, what you'd expect in the Lego manual. I always like it when they get you the digital or the real book. Sometimes these knockoff sets only have a digital like PDF version, and I don't like those as much, even though they might be more convenient because you can actually like use your tablet computer on the side and like zoom in and stuff. But I don't know, I just really like an actual physical book, so I'm glad they did that, and I'm glad I have that there. But like I said, there was no original box. They sent it to me just in a plastic bag, I guess, and then all the pieces, of course, were broken up into their own little, if it shows you, like each section, there was like 6 sections. This is section 1. That's what you're going to build out of that. Similar to the Lego sets, you get them and then they say, okay, here's your first part, here's your second part. So you just follow along. Pretty cool, pretty nifty. And then after 2 months of time lapsing, you get this guy. I like it. I like the color scheme. In fact, I bought a couple of these. What's going on there? I bought a couple of these medieval style sets. I have like a castle coming. I got another little shop, or not little, but like I said, one like this. Another shop in the works at some point. I got a huge backlog at this point, but eventually I'll get through them all, I guess. I actually bought this one in November. And then how I determine what I'm going to build next is I basically have all my stuff like logged in an Excel, and then I use a random number generator to say, okay, what am I doing next? Oh, this one? Okay, great. So that's how it works. I have no idea what I'm going to build next. It's always up to the random gods of Excel. So I like doing it that way because then you just never know. And if you have I'm breaking this all over the place. If you have a decent backlog, like I have a whole closet full now of stuff to build, it's always a fun surprise of what you're gonna get hit with. Because it could be like something small that you're gonna knock out in like a day, or it could be something massive that's gonna take a while. Like this guy here, I got it on a little like coaster so I can easily spin it. Otherwise, it gets caught up in the felt here. So that's why it's like a little wobbly, but it's not really in real life. like I said, the look, the scale, and the style. I really like the use of the colors they selected here. The roof line is especially cool. I really like that a lot. I think it looks really neat. The styles and aesthetics, I think they nailed. It definitely feels like a medieval little shop. The inside had that little flower guy, as well as a little sign here that says spring flower. And then there's something else on this side. What does it show? Oh, it's all getting caught. It's just a flower design. So I guess the intent is this is supposed to be, some dude in the medieval ages just selling flowers out of his house. Although I just noticed for the first time it actually says tree house here, which is funny. It did not come with any minifigures, but it did come with this little dog that you stick right there. Unless I lost them, but I didn't see any in the original book to build, or any in the bag. So no minifigs to speak of. I guess this is a little store out front that has little flowers. You can build and buy. And yeah, this has been fun. I like these big builds. I mean, who doesn't? They're gonna be cool. And if you get a cool set like this one, I think it really is a good time. Like, I don't know, there's something about building Legos, which is, obviously what I call all this stuff. That's just really nice. Watch some TV, build the Legos, it's a fun night in. Couple problems I've had with this set. This little guy here is so hard to get on. Like, there's two little studs in here that you attach this to, and of course they wiggle around on you because they're not connected. Well, they are connected, but it's not like a straight brick, so it can wiggle around, and then trying to get this guy to attach is always so hard. It just seems like everything's slightly off, and I fiddled with it for a while and I just can't get it again after it fell off the first time, so I just kind of leave it right there and we're good. Same with this side, the same thing kind of happened, although this guy was a little bit easier to get back on. Although now that it popped off again, I'm just gonna kind of leave it as is, because you won't know, right? You don't know it's not connected. It just looks fine, and unless I have an earthquake, it's not moving. So all good there. I did screw up one place I noticed when I was building this, and I think it's this guy. So this plate right here, it goes like that and then around, and then it's that big. I was supposed to use this color instead of that color because this guy is supposed to go up here. And I didn't get to that point. When I got to that point, I realized my mistake, and there was no way I was getting this guy out of here. Even if I came in from the bottom, I was looking at him this is impossible. This is not gonna work. So I ended up just kind of swapping those two pieces because they're the same piece, they're just different colors. No big deal. You won't even notice that unless I pointed it out. But that's on me. Although it's also on them, because if I open this up, let me show you what I'm dealing with here. If I can find the right page. All right, so here's a good example in the book. Here are the two colors. This is the dark brown color, so this is supposed to be that color there. But this is supposed to be this color. And that's not really close in real life anyway. Maybe it actually looks a little closer on the video than it does in real life. But that's why I got confused, because if you look way back where that placement goes, right here, it looks like I used the dark color right there, but I don't. This is supposed to be the light color, and now that I'm looking at it again, of course I think they got the ink wrong or something, because look how dark this is. That is supposed to be the lighter color, gray. So you can see how I screwed that one up, because this is even a separate step than all the other ones that came before it. So yeah, that didn't work. And I know this was a unique piece that I didn't have any other color in that bag for this piece, so I knew that was the right one when I grabbed it. But this one had, you know, it has the darker color and the lighter color in the same one. So that's how I screwed that up. No big deal. Like I said, it was fixed, or it looks fine. You know, it's not like a major mess up or anything. So it could have been worse. We've all been there, or we put the wrong piece in the wrong spot. Back to like when I was building the Bugatti, I had to like disassemble the whole thing because I put the wrong thing in the wrong spot, and then it like threw everything else off once you got to like 40 steps later. And luckily that didn't happen. Or like if I needed to get that one out of there, that would have been a nightmare. But luckily, no big deal, and we're all good. All right, so let me see if I can get this set up so I can dig into this a little bit more so we can see the detail of what's inside the house. Because I know in the time-lapse build, which if you didn't see that, will be linked in this video, and it'll be posted right before this one if you look in the timeline of events. All right. So, I have not disassembled this since I built it, and I have no idea how to get this tree off. Obviously, it has to come out in order to get inside, so let me fiddle or think about this for a second. And get the camera in a good spot, too. Alright, so... these things look a little loose, I noticed, when building them, but they're not. They're really secure, because they're, like, connected with these, you probably can't see them, but they're little pins right here that like go in and then connected with a connect thing that slides on the end of the cross. So they're not going anywhere, even though they look flimsy. This is hyper secure. I just wanted to point that out too. I think I just kind of yank this off. Whoa, it's all destroyed. These are all these trees, if you notice too, are on hinges, so you can like pose them however you want, which is always nice. But it's not very nice when you gotta go to take them off, because then they all fall apart on you. All right, set that aside. Let me think how to get in the door. I have another branch behind. Okay, so it probably looks like you take it off on the cylinder, because nothing else would be connected to that, and I wasn't supposed to take off the part that it took off before, which goes on top. So you probably just lift this whole cylinder off if you're gonna do it, because there's like a little cross hinge in there behind it that you can see that just kind of lifts, and there's no studs or anything. So I guess that I didn't realize that. So okay, now I know. All right, so roof. Let me think how this was applied. I think I just slide it out, if I recall. Yep, look at that. That just slides right out right there. I didn't build the roof itself in the time lapse because I thought that would be kind of silly and it would be very hard to do based on how it's designed. So I basically built the flat roof and then slid it in and then did the time lapse to put the shingles on, because that would have been just way easier than trying to... You can't really build down or up because there's nothing, it's not connected to anything, right? So when you're doing the time lapse like that, I pretty much had to build the whole superstructure first and then go in afterwards. All right, so here's the inside. If you can see, there's like a little bedroom. No, this is the attic, I'm sorry. What are we looking at? So this is the attic. There's not much up here actually, other than a treasure chest. Is there anything inside? I don't think there is. Don't recall. Nope, empty. So if you go to rob the place, you'll be out of luck. Thinking you have treasure, but you don't. And now, of course, it popped off the studs, and it's a little tight to get back in there. I'll fix that later. All right, so that's the top attic section. There's, like I said, not much there, but it's there, so for your convenience. What you might notice right here is this little thing that's jutting out right here is actually the tree branch coming in from this side. So when you slide this on, it like goes through the window, which I think is a cool effect that they were going for. But it's really annoying to pop this thing on and off because it was a little warpy when I was putting it together for the time lapse, and it kept popping off the studs, and so I have to keep like fiddling with it to get it back on, and it's kind of a pain to do that. But when you get it on, it works, but when you don't get it on, it doesn't work very well. All right, so that, like I said, this whole section kind of comes off. There's the roof. The other side slides off in a similar effect to get on that side. And that leaves us with the second level, which is the bedroom side. If we zoom in on this, you'll see stickers on the bed for a nice bedding effect. There's, what else is in here? Some accessorizes, a little desk for notes, and a treasure map for where his real treasure is buried, I assume. Cool door, I like the door. The rounded Simpsons style entrance. I think that works pretty good. Yeah. That's the bedroom. There's the little, this is the part that goes through the window, which goes through right here on the upper attic. So yeah, cool inside. Let's take a peek at the bottom section. I'm gonna take it off this spinner thing because it's not working like I thought it would. All right, let me see. I think this whole part pops off. Yep, including the tree, or at least a good chunk of it. That whole thing is one layer. And then we get to, I guess, what's supposed to be the shop. I thought when I was building this was like the cellar or the sub-basement, because that's what it kind of reminds me as. There's this cool little like monster plant inside, which is a good, nice little surprise if you weren't expecting it. I didn't know that when I bought the thing. You know, I only saw the outside on the book. Basically, that's the picture that you see when you buy it. I don't recall seeing the inside here, so that was a fun little surprise. But there's nothing else down here, so it was like, okay, when I'm building this, I thought this was gonna be his like cellar or basement, because that's what it kind of looks like. I didn't know this front door was here, because this is like the last thing you build when you're building it up. So I didn't realize there was a door straight in inside. But that's all the layers. So thought I'd do a closer look through on how that works or looks. Not the most detailed inside I've ever seen, for sure. These modular sets over here that are real Legos are usually a lot better at that, but the point of this thing I don't think is a highly detailed thing inside. It's supposed to be something pretty to look at, and it might not be pretty to look at right now because it's all in pieces, but the end result, as you saw, was pretty good, especially for the price, because you're not gonna beat that in Legos, no way. And that's what I like doing. Like, if you notice, I have a lot of real Lego sets around, as well as like knockoff sets, because of that price difference. It really helps when you do like a 50-50 split, like I've kind of done. Because it's just, you're gonna pay like way less than half price if you do it right for all of that knockoff sets that you'll see around town here that aren't real Legos. But of course, it's sprinkled in all the way are real Lego sets, and it just looks fantastic when it all comes together. Where I'm gonna put this, I don't know. It's kind of an odd shape, if you notice. It's not like a solid standard modular square. So I gotta figure out where it's gonna go. It will work great with the other trees that I have in the forest like area over here, but I don't have any room for it. I thought about maybe moving the docks somewhere else and popping it there. That is an option. My other option that I was kind of playing around with earlier was to pop it over here in a big empty space that I kind of moved some stuff out of the way for. But then it's away from like the tree section. So, you know, I don't know. I really like this look right here for what it is with the lights and everything. So if I were to move it over there, I'd have to get like a lighting, light this sucker up. But I don't know if I'm going to keep this. This is just something to build and do. I'd like to sell it back and, you know, get the $77 back for it, which I think I can because it's like basically 2,500 pieces of compatible Lego bricks. So I think it's a fair price for anybody who gets this. And yeah, I had a fun time. All right, Humpty Dumpty is back together again. I did have one piece left over. I can't figure out where this goes. It obviously slides into a little cross piece somewhere, but I could not find it. Just looking around for a minute or so. So I'll figure out fiddle with that later. It also came with a little owl. I forgot to mention too. So you get the little doggy and the owl, and I think there's another little bird right here in his little box, and my screen just turned off for some reason. No matter, because we're almost done here. All right, but wait, there's more, because one thing I want to start doing here is some more of these reviews after I do these builds, just to kind of get my thoughts on paper and document it well. And one thing I'm going to start doing is the value of all of this. So I already said that this was 2,500 pieces that I paid $77 for, which ends up being about 3 cents a piece. And that's pretty good, because if you look at the Lego average, it's usually about 10 cents a piece for sets. And I think even in recent years, like in the last year or so, with all this inflation, of course, it's gone way up even, it seems like. Because it used to look at a Lego box, and say, oh, this is, you know, 100 pieces, that should be $10, you know. You just multiply that by that 0.1 cents, and you know, you get the price that it should be, because usually you get about 100 pieces for 10 bucks. But now you look at sets and they're like, you know, what was that goofy thing I looked at the other day? The Jurassic Park truck and Triceratops set. Which, if I look that up, here, I'll even slide it in so all can see that I'm not going crazy. I saw this at Target the other day and I thought, they are out of their minds. It is 281 pieces for $50. And if you do that math, that's about 18 cents a piece. And look what you get. This is 50 bucks. Like, get out of here. Like, I know it comes with a Triceratops, which, forget that. I don't care about that. I do like the truck, though. The truck is cool. And I thought, okay, this set looks like it's going to be 20 or less. And then I look down at the price and I'm like, $50? The heck? What is this? So, you compare this set at 18 cents a piece to this set, which was 3 cents a piece. This is why I like the knockoff sets, because of that price difference. Crazy. So what I'm also going to do is do it by weight too, to show you that, oh, if you do like a little dot thing, it's the price to value is one thing, but it's by weight too. So I got a little scale here. I'm going to pop this on and we're going to see what it actually weighs. All right, on the scale here, and you can see it weighs a whopping 4.4 pounds, 9 ounces. So if you do that math, let me do that real quick. All right, that seems to work itself out to about $16.88 a pound. And I have no idea if that's good or bad. I assume it's very good, but let's see. We need to test it against a baseline. Let me take that bank and let's compare it against that. All right, so the bank here I'm showing is about the same, 4 pounds, 70.2 ounces. Of course, it's a little misleading because I realized I left some minifigures up here that didn't come with the set, as well as I modified it to include Batman. But no matter, because this is one of the first sets I had way on back in 2017, I want to say. Obviously, we've had some inflation since then. Because the price in $2017 is not the price you're going to pay today for this thing. Or an equivalent set, I should say. So let me run some numbers on this. All right, so looking back in history, I saw that this thing originally retailed for the grand old price of $169.99. I was lucky enough to snag it for $136. brand new all in. So I'm really happy about that because it since got retired. And if I happen to notice too that this thing's worth $430 right now, as is, used like this. Of course, I have the lighting kit, which also probably boosts its value, I would think, for somebody who really wants to collect this. So, woohoo! It's very nice to see that. I did notice that this is kind of yellowing out, though. The Lego bricks, these white arches, which are not as yellow, are actually the lighting kit. There's lights up in there that shine down, so interesting to see. But no matter, it's still worth a boatload of money. But at that original retail price, it ends up being 7 cents a piece because it did have 2380 pieces, which is very equivalent to this guy at 2500, so not too far off. Like I said, they even weighed about the same. This one a little less because there's, well, 200 less pieces. But that puts this guy at $16.88 a pound. Sorry, I had that backwards. This guy was $16 a pound. This guy was $38 a pound at that original retail price. So, you know, this is why I like the knockoff stuff. You can't tell the difference. They cost way less. Yes, it's probably not going to be worth more on the secondary market, but because this guy obviously like quadrupled in value to where it is today, which is crazy. But yeah, that's the little comparison. Yeah, you can see how this guy was less than half price. I mean, $77, $170. That's like $100 difference right there. More than double between the two sets, which is crazy. But that's just the reality of how much people are willing to pay for Legos, how expensive they are. The quality's there, don't get me wrong. The build quality of a Lego set is always going to be superior. I love Legos, don't get me wrong. I loved them all my life. But I do like a good knockoff set when done right. And this one, I would check the box as saying done right because it looks fantastic. And at the end of the day, knockoff sets are all about the looks. So, you know, there it is. That's the big deep dive review for this project. I don't know what's coming next, like I said, because it's all random. But there will definitely be a next because there's a lot still to do back in the backlog. So there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed this little overview and got something out of it. I know I kind of document these for my own documentation purposes. So in 20 years I can look back and say, oh yeah, I remember that set because I'm probably going to sell this at some point. And make room for something else because it's really big. That's the thing. Like, I'd love to keep it, but if something better comes along, I'll gladly replace. And that's been the idea all along, is fill this up with like knockoff sets that just fill up the space and look cool for a time. And then when I'm ready to move on to something else, because space is limited, just sell it. No big deal. No big loss. So that's the plan. That's what I'm doing here. Hopefully this video wasn't too long. It was probably a lot longer than I thought it would be when I set out to do this overview, but I think there's a lot of good info in it, and it was fun making. So hopefully you enjoyed it too. Stay tuned for many more.